Is this the ultimate drone? We're revisiting the DJI Mavic 3 Pro, and this is my long-term review of DJI's flagship foldable drone. So I took this out and it was actually a perfect test. It was quite scary. There were wind speeds of 30 kilometers an hour and there were gust speeds of 42 kilometers an hour. Now, from what I could see, this can handle winds of up to 43. It was flying like this, very sketchy, and I was over the water, so there was no shelter. To be honest with you, quite terrified to fly it. Literally chucked it into sports mode, spun around, did a few different things, used all the different camera systems, no issues at all. I was more so the one that was worried about doing it, but even flying back towards me in high winds, it actually performed extremely well. Like if I could give it a little gold star, I'd definitely put a gold star in its chart. So the most striking feature about this drone immediately is the fact that it has 3 cameras on it. 3 cameras. You are spoiled for choice with this unit. Love the design of it. This new color they've gone with is great. And the Pro is the top offering. So the Hasselblad is the main wide camera angle. It's a 4/3 sensor, 24 millimeter, and it's an f2.8 to f11. So that means that it's got adjustable aperture, and that makes the world of difference. Recently, I actually went out and got some amazing shots of all the different whales that have been migrating. And man, like it's so impressive, especially when I've got shallow waters. I can adjust the aperture and I can pretty much just see straight through the water. It does an amazing job of being able to adjust the aperture. With this main camera system, you can capture 5.1K up to 50 frames per second. You've also got slow motion options, 4K up to 120 frames per second, and it does an awesome job, looks great. Now, the second camera system is the 70 millimeter telephoto camera system, and we saw this on a few different drones. We actually saw this on the Air 3. This is a 1/1.3 inch sensor. It's 3 times optical zoom. It's got a fixed aperture of f2.8, and it's got a bunch of different options and customization. You can use all of the different modes and features through any one of the 3 cameras that you choose, which is cool as well. It can also capture 48 megapixel stills, same with the other ones. It can go with the slow motion 4K up to 120 frames per second in slow-mo, which is great. And I really do like the 70 millimeter. It's probably my favorite, which is the 3 times. And we do have that, like I said, on the Air 3. And then the third camera system, which is the unique offering here for the Mavic 3 Pro, is the 28 times hybrid zoom. So it's 7 times optical, but it can go up to 28 times. Now the clarity just dips straight off the end of the earth with this one. It's not phenomenal at 28 times, but it's actually cool for like scouting out locations. I use that more so as a scouting option, and then I'll bring it back to the 7 times optical where it's super usable. So you've got the wide, you've got the 3 times, and then you've got the 7 times optical with the option to go to 28 to really scout out a location. And so this sensor is a 1/2. The aperture is f3.4. So you can see that is quite unique across the board. The thing that is really important to mention though is no matter what you're jumping between, the image looks very similar. Maybe a little bit of kind of post-production tweaking, but across the board, like you're comfortably going to be able to shoot with the 3 unique cameras and get a very unique video that's going to match nicely. Now, when it comes to batteries, they're quite large as you can see, and the majority of the weight of the unit is in the battery, but you get 43 minutes per battery. So comfortably, maybe 35 minutes per battery, which is still a leap forward and very impressive for a drone of this size. Well worth getting the Fly More combo to get the additional flight time out of it, especially like I said, because each camera has its own unique perspective. So in each location, you're definitely going to want to do the rounds. You're going to want to do, you know, a few different shots and then go to the next camera. If you are interested in the Mavic 3 Pro or any other drone for that matter, then I do have some awesome deals for you. If you're based in Australia, go over to the D1 Store's website, which is DJI Australia. Their website is d1store.com.au. Use the code DansTube and you will save on most drones, cameras, and accessories. It's an awesome deal, an awesome saving for all of my Australian viewers, and it helps the channel out and it also helps you out. So definitely check that out. And then on top of that, I do have some bundles linked below as well. So check those out there through the D1 Store's website. I have a Mavic 3 Pro bundle right now. It gives you everything you need. It's an awesome bundle. And for my international viewers, I'll also have some other links as well. So definitely check those out. Lots of savings down there and well worth having a little browse and clicking around in those links below. I've tested the Mavic 3 Pro on the channel extensively. I've done all sorts of videos, so definitely check those out. You can just search on the channel Mavic 3 Pro. You'll find all of those there. Now, like I said, the Mavic 3 Pro is unique in the fact that it offers the 3 camera systems. But then on top of that, we do get omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. So it has sensors everywhere. It can avoid pretty much anything, but you have to be mindful of like little thin branches or power lines or anything like that that's really, really small that it might not pick up on. All these little sensors here are little cameras, and they're picking up on the environment and figuring out what's going on to try to avoid it. It does have a very powerful active track mode, so it can track really anything, people, cars, vehicles, boats, anything you can imagine. Draw a box around it and it will start tracking it. It does an awesome job. You can change the direction of where you want it to track you from, and it performs really well, especially when we're talking about like following a boat, for example. Super high winds and there's a lot going on. It can keep up with the boat and it can still change directions and get in front of the boat and keep capturing those images. So versatile in all sorts of situations if you really want a drone that can handle anything. And then we also get a bunch of different intelligent flight modes like we do on all other drones, but this has waypoints, it has master shots, it's got cruise control, it's got so many cool features that you don't get on the cheaper drones or the older drones, for example. And that's where this really stands out. You know, waypoints is very powerful on this drone. You can do all sorts of things with it. Cruise control is another really cool mode. So it's not just like locking out the speed, you can lock any sort of direction. You can put multiple inputs in, press the cruise control button, and it will just continue to like spiral up if you want it to spiral up and pull away. Anything you can imagine, you can replicate that with the cruise control mode. And then master shots is a hit or miss mode for some people, but I find it really useful. It just captures a lot of different perspectives and then it just puts it together. So you can use them individually or you can use the whole clip. You do get all the other modes that you would expect. So all the hyperlapse modes and photo modes and everything else. Top speeds apparently of up to 74 kilometers an hour. So that's another point to be aware of when I was talking about the wind. Great to get it back to you, right? Because 74 kilometer top speed, when you chuck it into sports mode, you're definitely getting it back to you well and truly before the battery depletes. There are a bunch of different accessories as well for the Mavic 3 range, which is awesome. And you can actually use a few different controllers with this. I'm just using the RC-N1. Definitely check those links below to see all the different accessories and controls that you can use with it. And yeah, really, it's just the best drone I've used. Like, just hands down. The fact that I get 3 camera systems is, you can't even compare it to anything. And the fact that they're so unique as well, they're so different. Like if we look at the Air 3, for example, really great drone. But the 2 camera systems, even though you've got one with optical zoom on it, it's great, but they're very similar. Where we look at the primary on this, then it's a Hasselblad system and it's a 4/3. So any sort of lighting condition, it lets in so much light. You've got adjustable aperture, so you can really play around with that. And like I said, it made the world of difference in the shallow water, where I was actually able to like penetrate the water because I was adjusting the aperture to see the whales in the water. So that was great. I didn't even have an ND filter on it. And this is the most feature-packed, the most reliable, the most consistent drone that you can buy. This is the best that I have personally used. So there is a price tag to getting the best, but if you've got the money or if you really want to upgrade your game, right? Maybe you've got a mini drone and maybe you're taking it a little bit more seriously. The Mavic 3 Pro is a huge upgrade that you are not going to be disappointed with. So anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on the DJI Mavic 3 Pro, a phenomenal flagship drone from DJI. Definitely check it out, and I will chat to you in the next one. I appreciate all the support, everyone. Peace.